The Arctic fox, also known as the white fox, is one of the most well-adapted animals in the harsh Arctic environment. With its thick, pristine white fur, the Arctic fox blends seamlessly into the ice and snow, providing perfect camouflage. It thrives in polar regions where temperatures can drop extremely low and demonstrates remarkable hunting skills that allow it to survive in this challenging habitat. Alongside its stunning appearance and resilience, the Arctic fox represents a perfect blend of beauty and strength in the severe Arctic landscape. Welcome to our special episode for today. But don't forget to subscribe to our channel to follow more interesting topics. The Arctic fox. The Arctic fox is a type of fox that lives in cold polar regions, especially in the Arctic regions of the Earth. This fox is known for its great ability to adapt to the harsh environmental conditions in frozen regions. The Arctic fox has unique characteristics that make it an interesting species in the world of polar mammals. The Arctic fox is characterized by its medium size. The body length is usually between 46 to 68 centimeters, while the tail is about 30 to 40 centimeters long. The Arctic fox usually weighs between 3 to 9 kilograms, and its weight is more dense in the winter to help it resist the cold. One of the most prominent characteristics of the Arctic fox is its thick and soft fur. In the winter, its fur is thick, soft, and perfectly adapted to the harsh cold conditions. Its color in the winter is pure white, which helps it camouflage itself in the snow, while in the summer its color becomes brown or gray-brown. Its ears are short and pointed, which help it conserve heat. The Arctic fox is characterized by its long, thick tail, which it can wrap around its body as a cover to protect it from the cold. The Arctic fox is found in the Arctic regions and lives mainly in the Arctic tundra and parts of Siberia, Alaska, Canada, Denmark, and Scandinavia. Can also be found on some Arctic islands. The Arctic fox can withstand low temperatures of about -50 degrees Celsius, making it one of the most cold-adapted animals in the world. It usually lives in open snow-covered lands and tundra mountains, where the environment is harsh and cold. The Arctic fox is a merciless animal that depends on small animals and birds for its food. It feeds mainly on mice, rats, ducks, geese, fish, and some plants in the summer. Sometimes, it may feed on the corpses of other animals that have been hunted by other predators. The Arctic fox is able to live in an environment poor in food resources, as it remains active and searches for prey at different times of the day. The Arctic fox is a somewhat social animal, but is mostly considered a solitary animal. It will sometimes gather with other foxes during the winter when food resources are available. The Arctic fox can live in small groups in areas where food sources are plentiful. These groups are not permanent, as the Arctic fox prefers to be alone most of the time. It is mostly nocturnal, meaning that it hunts and forages at night or in the early hours of the morning. The mating season for the Arctic fox usually occurs between February and March. The female gives birth in the spring, after a gestation period of 51 to 57 days. The litter usually consists of 5 to 10 pups. The pups are blind and helpless at birth, and do not begin to leave the nest until about 3 weeks later. At 2 to 3 months of age, the pups begin to learn to hunt from their mother and gradually leave the nest. The pups are usually ready to become independent at about 6 months of age. The Arctic fox has an exceptional ability to adapt to the cold. It has very thick fur, which helps it to conserve heat inside its body. In the winter, the thickness of the fur doubles to protect it from freezing temperatures. The Arctic fox has evolved to have the ability to store fat under its skin to protect itself from the cold, which also helps save energy during difficult hunting periods. The Arctic fox is a relatively stable species in its environment, but it may face certain threats such as climate change and hunting. Rising temperatures can affect the polar environment and lead to a reduction in the areas in which the Arctic fox lives. Human hunting for fur is also considered another threat to this species. In some areas, the Arctic fox migrates to other areas in search of food when it faces a shortage of resources. The Arctic fox shares its habitat with a group of other animals such as polar bears, polar wolves, and snow hares. Although the Arctic fox is considered a small predator, it may be exposed to conflict with larger animals such as polar bears, which can be a threat to it due to their large size and strength. The Arctic fox is known to search for other prey when food is limited, and can feed on the carcasses of other animals killed by larger predators. The Arctic fox makes a range of sounds, such as sharp barks and screams, which it uses to communicate with other foxes or to defend itself. The Arctic fox is a symbol of the ability to survive in the harshest conditions. In many cultures, it is referred to as an animal that represents resilience and endurance. In popular culture, the Arctic fox is seen as a symbol of the wild nature of the polar regions. The Arctic fox is an amazing animal thanks to its ability to adapt to the harsh environmental conditions of the polar regions. It lives in an extremely cold and snowy environment, where it adapts to low temperatures through thick fur and layers of fat that protect it from the cold. Thanks to its white color in winter, it is considered one of the best animals that can camouflage itself in the snow. It is one of the small predators that play a role in maintaining the ecological balance in its natural environment. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting topics. See you!